Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the land of the living. And we are going on with our exploration of Orot Tshuva, the lights of return of Rav Kook. And we've been talking about the three spheres that motivate somebody to grow, to want to change. Those three spheres are the sphere of the natural. We're talking about pain. So either physical pain or emotional pain. When people experience pain, they want to change. No one likes to exist in a state of pain. And that physical pain or emotional pain, psychological pain, are caused by or can be caused by disharmony with the way we should be living. And the way we should be living has spiritual components and physical components, which are all part of the laws of the Torah. The Torah demands that we live in a physically healthy way, and the Torah demands we live in a spiritually healthy way. So disharmony in any of those realms can cause us physical pain. It can cause us an ache in our left knee. What's ailing you?
He's got a knee problem.
Levi Avraham.
Ani Margish Tov.
Did everybody hear that? Ani Margish Tov. That's amazing. That was really good. Okay. So he is the very model of fitness at this point. So, Baruch Hashem. I'm going to challenge him to a game of tennis right after this shiur. So, Baruch Hashem. The second realm of motivation to do teshuvah that we discussed is what Rav Kook called teshuvah emunit. That is, we're motivated to do teshuvah because we want to do the right thing. We want to do the right thing, right? So we take out our works of halacha, of Jewish guidance, Jewish law, and it says do this and don't do that, and we want to be good soldiers in Hashem's army. So that's a motivator, right? That's a motivator. The third element, which is what we discussed last, is what Rav Kook calls teshuvah sichlit. Teshuvah sichlit, which would be translated as intellectual teshuvah, but it really doesn't mean intellectual teshuvah, as we'll remind ourselves in a second. The previous level is what is sometimes called in the Talmud, right, where we're motivated because we want to do the right thing, we want to do what it says in Shulchan Aruch and the codes of Jewish law. That's called tshuva me'ira. See, ultimately, it derives from a certain sense of awe of Hashem, a certain fear of consequences. We want to walk the straight and narrow because if we don't walk the straight and narrow, things can happen. So that's tshuva me'ira. The last level of tshuva, which Rav Kook calls tshuva sichlit, intellectual tshuva, is tshuva me'ahava. Why is it called sichlit, intellectual tshuva? It's not because you sit around intellectualizing, if there's such a verb, but it's because tshuva me'ahava, tshuva out of love rather than fear, is a tshuva which is motivated by love of God. Now, how does one fall in love with God? As we pointed out, I believe on Thursday, that expression, to know you is to love you. So we'll just take that out of the realm of the romantic and put it into the realm of the spiritual. To know God is to love God. So how do you love God? How do you, through knowledge? Well, the way we get to know God is through learning His Torah. By learning Hashem's holy Torah, His revealed wisdom and will, we fall in love with God. And we saw last time this amazing passage from the Rambam. If everybody thinks that the Rambam was a cold rationalist, he may have been a rationalist, but it wasn't cold. The passage that we read from the Rambam's writings last week, where he talks about that by learning Torah, by getting to know God, that we can fall in love with God. To love God with all of our being. That the Rambam then compares to a person who is love sick. He goes through the whole day. The only thing he can think about is the person that he's in love with. Can barely function. He's so in love. Love sick. That is what it means to be in love with God. And that's why when the Torah says to love God with all of our heart, our soul, our might, when we get up, when we go back to bed, right? It's every aspect of our day, we're on cloud 9, swooning with love of God. That's called tshuva sichlit, intellectual tshuva, not because you're sitting around working on your PhD thesis. It's because it's a tshuva which comes through the knowledge of God, which is through learning of Torah. Okay. Let's finish off just the last few words of chapter 1 there. And we'll back up just where it says Hatshuva HaSichlit, intellectual tshuva. Hatshuva HaSichlit, tak shekvar rakshal tativit ve'emunit. This tshuva which comes through knowledge of God, that one gets through learning Torah, it is most firmly existent when it's built on the previous two levels, when one already has absorbed the notion that to grow requires that we live in harmony with the laws of nature and the spiritual laws, and therefore avoiding the physical pain and psychological pain, and the second level of fear of God, of understanding their consequences from our behavior. Then that third level, that we're motivated not just by spiritual pain, physical pain, emotional pain, not just because we want to do the right thing, which are all really high levels. I wish it was enough to open up the Shulchan Aruch and say you should do this, not do that, and all of a sudden we change our life because we're supposed to do what we're supposed to do. Unfortunately, that always doesn't work for us. This highest level comes from a clear recognition. This highest level of knowledge of God, which comes from the broadest and deepest understanding of life, that is after the impact of the previous two levels of tshuva. Tshuva zo haklula me'akodmot. This highest level of tshuva out of love, being lovesick for God, it absorbs within it, it subsumes within it the previous levels. Hi malei akvar osher ein kates. It is full of unlimited joy. Hi ma'pechet et achatim kulam l'zchuyot. All of one's sins in the past, all of one's regrets become merits. All the mistakes we made in the past become such lofty and rich sources of insight and lessons. You become so wise because of all our mistakes. School of hard knocks. And from all of the humiliation because of the way we led our life in the past, come the most wondrous elevations when we get to the level of motivation through love of God. Zotia tshuva sheinei kol eleha nisuot. And this is the level of tshuva, motivating ourselves out of love of God, that the eyes of all look up to that as our loftiest goal. And this level must come, and it will come. We will all, Rav Kook says, reach this level of being lovesick for God. It must come and will come. It will happen. We just have to work at it. Hashem promises us. Okay, now we're going to go on to the next chapter, chapter 2 in Orot HaTshuva. And this chapter is entitled Teshuva Pitomit Teshuva Hadragit. Change, which happens all of a sudden, and change which is gradual. You can even just see by the title, and I think for our own personal experience, how that can sometimes happen. Rav Kook says the following. Legabe meshech zmana, when we change, how does that fit into the framework of time? Hatshuva mitchalek l'shnei chalakim, when we change, when we grow, when we return, it can be categorized on two different levels when it comes to time. Tshuva pitomit, tshuva hadragit. A change, a return, a growth, which can happen all of a sudden, or very slowly, step by step. Hapitomit ba mitoch eze barak ruchani anichnas b'neshama. Sometimes there can be a tshuva, which results from a certain bolt of spiritual lightning which flashes within the soul. Bifam achat makirhu et hara. All of a sudden, a person just wakes up and sees evil, stares at it right in the face. V'tekior shalachet, and sees the ugliness of sin. You know, we become immersed in destructive behavior, and we don't realize that we're deep in sewage. Even smells good to us. Maybe our nose has been plugged up with kind of spiritual congestion, and we have to take allergy medicine, right? And all of a sudden, we take that allergy medicine, spiritual allergy medicine, we breathe deep, and oh my, what's that smell? My life is sewage, and I never noticed it. And as soon as one notices that one is submerged in sewage, nehpach li'ishacher, you're different. I want out. I want out so bad. I didn't realize that I'm living in sewage. Uchvar margishu bekirbo hishtanut murala tova. And at that very moment, as soon as one smells the sewage of one's life, that person senses within themselves at that very moment of realization, in a moment, a complete transformation for the good. With that first clear smell of the foulness of one's life, in a moment, I'm different. Because I now have a clear sense of just how filthy my life has been. And this type of transformation comes through some type of phenomena of almost miraculous instantaneousness. Right? It's just like, what made my nose open up there? It just happened. It was amazing, because 10 minutes ago I was in the filth, and all of a sudden something happened. There was some kind of spiritual emanation which was absorbed by the soul. It just happened in a moment. It was almost like a prophetic experience that one's eyes and nose were opened. It's a gift. That this level is somehow bound up in the depths, mysterious depths of the paths of the human soul. V'yeshna tshuva hadragit. But there's another type of tshuva, which is not a miracle like the last one. You see, that type of change we just described is a miracle. There's another type which is gradual. Lo vrika hivrika b'kirbo litapech min ha'omek shel hara latov. There wasn't some type of spiritual bolt of lightning which penetrated into the depths of the soul to convert the evil into good.
The Ragit is the...
Yes, gradual.
I thought it'd be the opposite because it looks like Rega.
Yeah, no, it's from the Dalet Reish Gimel. Yeah, Rega would be Reish Gimel Ayin.
Oh.
Right, Rega and Darga Madrega.
The Dalet Reish Gimel.
Right, it's a different root. Different root, right? Close though, by one letter off. Right, so it's gradual, right? It's a person has a certain sense, I got to get moving. I have this sense like I need to move on. It wasn't this lightning flash of instantaneous transformation. Ritzono halach machshavotav u'malachozo lechu v'chofesh lat la'adet darchei yosher. And this process, little by little, conquers one's way of living and moves oneself into the paths of straightness. Mitakenet amidot, one works on one's character, little by little. Meitivet amasim, improving one's behavior. Melamedet asmo echlit kasher yoter v'yoter, and one teaches oneself how to become more appropriate, full, and healthy, little by little, step by step. Achuba lamala, Rama shozikuch v'tikun, until you reach that higher level of purification or rectification. So these two different modalities, and we've all seen this around us, and we've even seen this in ourselves, right? That sometimes we've been able to lick a problem, cure a problem we had. We just woke up in the morning and we stopped doing whatever we were doing, which was destructive. It's just, you can't explain it. And sometimes we just plug away day after day, gradually, right? Two types of modalities. Hatshuva, ba meim havraka shalatova klali. Shalatova eloki hashoreb olamot kulam, or chei holamim. The higher tshuva, it comes from this bolt of lightning. Where did that bolt of lightning come from that can produce this kind of tshuva, where a person just all of a sudden their nostrils open up and they can smell the foulness of their life when they never sensed before? That comes from a lightning bolt. Where did that lightning bolt come from? Came the source of all light, which is the divine goodness which resides in the whole world. For some reason that has been clouded over, you didn't sense all that divine goodness of the world, but there was a bolting light of that divine light which penetrated the clouds and penetrated into the soul. That's where that came from. Nishmat kol ha'atzilit mitzayeret lefanenu b'hodav b'kshuata. All of a sudden, one senses the spiritual divinity which resides underneath all of existence in all of its glory, splendor, and holiness. Kama sha'alev yachol lispoג, to the extent that the heart can absorb it. And one senses how in truth the world is so good, it is so straight. We want to live in harmony. We want to live in that straightness and goodness, in harmony with the straightness and goodness of the world. The world ultimately is this manifestation, emanation of divine goodness. We want to be part of that divine goodness, live in harmony with it. How can we live a life in which we're ripped out, torn away from all? Perur mishuneh, to be some kind of strange crumb. Mufrad ke'avak dak kishalo nechshav, to be like some type of speck of measly dust, divorced from the goodness of existence. Mitoch hakarazo, if we reach this level of sensing that, I don't want to be some miserable crumb ripped off from the goodness of existence. I want to be part of that divine goodness, out of that recognition, Shihakara Elokit Bemet, which is a divine recognition, a divine insight, a transformation of consciousness Ba tshuva me'ava b'chaye prad b'chaye klal. That's where tshuva out of love comes from, for the individual and for the collective. Oh, okay, we just did an entire chapter. And with that, we can begin our day. Tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem, we'll start Perek Gimel, chapter 3. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.